If I had answered that phone call just 5 tiny minutes later, my wife would have died. But what the kind doctor told me, very quietly outside her hospital room, changed my life forever, in just one simple sentence. He shared a truth that made every lie, every late night at work, and every fake smile finally make sense to me. I walked into that hospital believing with my whole heart that I could save my marriage. I walked out realizing that my marriage had already fallen apart a long time ago. My name is Ethan Carter. I am 35 years old, and I work as a financial analyst in the city of Denver. I had always believed that being loyal and sticking together was the strongest part of our marriage. My wife, Vanessa, was 33. She was so beautiful and full of confidence. She had long, dark hair and a warm, sweet smile that could make any room feel much brighter and happier. We had been married for 7 years. Even though we had a few small arguments like every couple does, I truly believe we were building a happy and safe future together. But over the last 6 months, Vanessa had started to act very distant and cold. She kept her phone hidden from me all the time, stayed very late at her office, and suddenly seemed much more interested in weekend business trips than spending any time at home with me. Whenever I asked her about what was going on, she told me I was just being worried for no reason at all. She even blamed me and said I didn't trust her enough. I loved her, so I wanted to believe her. I tried my best to ignore the very bad feeling that was growing deep inside my heart. I told myself I was just being silly. The air in Denver could be very cold, but that night, the rain felt even colder against my skin. Everything changed on a very rainy Thursday evening. A phone number I didn't know appeared on my screen. "Are you Vanessa Carter's husband?" the person on the other end asked. My heart sank instantly. The person on the line told me that Vanessa had been hurt very badly. She was with a man at a hotel downtown when it happened. She had some very serious injuries and was being rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. I could not believe what I was hearing. The woman I had loved for so many years had been with another man. I rushed to the emergency room. My hands were shaking so badly that I nearly dropped my car keys on the wet ground. When I arrived at the hospital, Vanessa was not awake. There were dark bruises on her face, and many loud medical machines were all around her bed. Anger, sadness, and a lot of confusion hit me all at once. A few minutes later, the doctor asked me to step out into the hallway to talk. "I need to tell you something very important," he said in a soft, gentle voice. He handed me Vanessa's medical file. He told me that my wife was pregnant. My mind went completely blank. He said she was about 10 weeks along. 10 weeks. I did the math in my head right away. I had been away on a 3-week business trip. During that exact time, there was no possible way the baby could be mine. The doctor looked at me with a lot of kindness. He realized from the look on my face that I had no idea about any of this. Suddenly, everything finally made sense. The secret phone calls, the unexpected work trips, the way she pulled away when I tried to hug her, and the endless excuses she made. I sat alone on the hard plastic chairs in the hospital waiting room for nearly 2 hours. I just stared at the floor, feeling very empty inside. Eventually, Vanessa woke up. The moment she saw me standing beside her bed, big tears began to run down her face. "Ethan, I'm so sorry," she cried. I looked at her without saying a single word. Then she told me everything. The affair had started almost a whole year ago with a wealthy man named Marcus who worked in real estate. He had promised to leave his girlfriend and build a brand new life with her. He bought her expensive gifts, took her to very fancy dinners, and paid for long vacations. All the while, he told her that I was the only reason she couldn't move forward with her life. But Marcus had never planned to leave anyone. When Vanessa found out she was pregnant and told him she wanted him to commit to her, he became very angry and mean. Their argument inside the hotel room turned violent. That was how she ended up fighting for her life in a hospital bed. "I made the biggest mistake of my life," she sobbed. "Please don't leave me, Ethan." For a brief moment, I remembered the sweet woman I had fallen in love with years ago, but I realized she was gone. The trust between us had been broken into a million pieces. The future we had dreamed about no longer existed. The very next morning, I called a lawyer to start the divorce process. The lawyer was a kind person who understood my pain and helped me through the paperwork. I paid every hospital bill I was legally responsible for. I also made sure someone from her family was there to help her while she got better. I wasn't trying to be mean or cruel. I simply refused to spend even one more day living inside someone else's lies. A few weeks later, Marcus was arrested. The police found security videos and spoke to people who saw the attack. Vanessa called me dozens of times. I never answered her calls. I needed peace. Months later, our divorce was finished. I sold our house, took a better job in another state, and started my life all over again. I felt a weight lift off my shoulders as I drove across the state line to my new home. For the first time in many years, my home felt peaceful and quiet. One afternoon, I unexpectedly ran into an old friend we both knew. She told me that Vanessa deeply regretted everything she had done. Marcus had disappeared and was gone. The pregnancy had ended after the attack, and she had lost almost everyone she used to depend on. Hearing that brought me a sense of peace. The consequences she faced didn't come from me. They came from the choices she had made herself. As I walked away, I realized something that stayed with me. The greatest revenge isn't making someone else suffer. It is refusing to let their lives define the rest of your life. That day, I didn't look back. Sometimes the strongest person isn't the one who wins a fight. It is the one who finally finds the courage to walk away forever and start a new story. That was my final choice.